Alrighty, welcome. My name is Kate with Scotland Rye Marketing. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys direct mailers in Command. So with that, we're going to take a look at how to create a direct mailer using the provided templates in the direct mailer campaigns. We'll also take a look at how to upload a custom design if that's something you're interested in. We'll also go through how to send that to both your database as well as how to target a specific area or farm a specific neighborhood. So we'll take a look at all of those kind of options as we go through today's class. Um, Without further ado, the first thing we want to do, of course, is access our command account. So if you are not familiar, command can be accessed by going to agent.kw.com. I'll drop that link in the chat for you guys as well. Once you are logged in, I just like to mention the home screen can be customized. So if you are seeing different pieces of information on here, that is okay. You can, again, customize this for what is important to you, what you'd like to see first. And we do have a tip video that goes over how to customize that as well, if that's something you're interested in. Um, Moving to our next little bit, the first thing we want to take a look at is going to be our marketing profile that pulls to our website, our app, and some of our marketing in the Command platform. Some of the marketing for today's direct mailers should pull from this profile, which can be accessed under the website's applet. Okay, so we're going to head there first. Now, this profile used to be its own profile. It has recently moved into the website applet. So if you're familiar with going to settings and then to the marketing profile, it is the same profile. It has just moved. Once you are under the website's applet, you want to go ahead and hit Manage Settings under that settings option. Now, once you are here, you're going to see all of the similar information that used to be in the marketing profile, as well as some of the settings from the website. They've kind of merged into one profile. First is going to be your contact information. So phone number, email, your website, your market center information, okay? So your market center information should pull into our designs today, so make sure that is updated. If you make any edits to any of these sections, you do have to save them individually. So if you update contact information, go ahead and hit that save button before you move to the next category. Now, next is your photo. You'll want to make sure headshot is added, your team logo if you have one. If you don't have a team logo, we do recommend a photo here. A couple of alternatives for single agents. You can use a generic KW logo. You can also use your headshot here again. So, or if you've branded yourself as a solo agent, you can also add that, okay? So a couple of options. Make sure you hit that save before you go down to My Details. This is where you'll edit your name, your license, title, slogan, your credentials and designations, your bio, and military affiliation, okay? These are the details that pull to your website. So if you are updating the My Profile instead of this one, this profile, My Profile, does not feed to your marketing. It does not feed to your website. So if you're updating your photo and your bio there, and maybe wondering why it's not updating on your website or app, that would be why. This profile is mostly an internal profile. Moving down, preferences, this is geared towards your website, so we're going to skip over that. Service areas is new. We will have a tip video coming out on that, but that's going to allow you to select your service areas, again, for your website. Legal footer and compliance, again, primarily your website where these are going to pull to. Socials, same thing. It'll pull those full profiles into your website so that they are clickable. Referral links, this is where you'll find your app. If you're on a team, you will also have team links. And then the last two, of course, are just for your website. So if you're looking for forced registration or to customize your subdomain, maybe change it, you'll do those here as well. Once you're done, make sure, again, you hit save under each of those categories. And now we're going to go ahead and get started on actually creating our direct mailer and getting that ready to go. So I'm going to head back to our home screen so that we are on a familiar screen for everyone. From here, we want to navigate down to the campaigns applet, okay? So if you're not familiar with these applets, you can hover over each of those icons to see the name of them. You can, of course, also hit this red and white KW. That will expand that menu bar and allow you to see all of the names at once, okay? So again, we're going to head straight to campaigns. It looks like a megaphone. Now, once we're here, you're going to see that campaigns is going to be for different types of marketing. You can do paid advertisements through your social platforms. You can do email campaigns that can go out to your database through command. You can do direct mailers. And again, that's what we're going to focus on. Those are going to be actually going out in the mail and arriving in mailboxes. And then you, of course, can also create social posts. Okay, those are just free social media posts that you can add to your social platforms. We're going to head into direct mail though. Now, I do get questions sometimes. Can I send a letter in direct mail? Things like that. Unfortunately, the only option currently for direct mail is a postcard, okay? So you can only send a postcard. So if you want to add a letter, create a custom design and kind of smush it down into a postcard size, you can do that. But it's going to be the size of a postcard. Once you're under direct mailers, though, we have an overview of our entire direct mailer. So we have how many month date we've sent out. You can change this. You can view 7 days, 30, month, year, and lifetime. You'll see recipients as well as leads and dollar amount spent. Now below that, you can search for past postcards that you've created, direct mailers. You can sort them or filter them out based on if they were mailed, drafted, archived, or if you want to see everything. You can also filter those based on the specific goal that you set for each of those. So when you create a postcard, direct mailer, you will select a specific goal. What is the purpose of that postcard? What is the intentions? And you will select that. So you can sort them, filter them based on those as well. Moving down, you're going to have an overview of all of the postcards you've sent, okay? So you have the overview, which is the name. The name is internal. Nobody sees this but you, so just remember what you titled it so that you can find it if you ever need to refer back to it. You'll have a preview of the front of the card that you created. You'll have the status of that postcard, the date sent, date it was mailed, the leads, recipients, and of course that goal that was set for that. Now the 3 little dots to the far right, those are going to allow you to edit, duplicate, or archive. Now, if these were already sent, that edit will not be available. You only have that duplicate or archive option, okay? As you can see, you can go all the way down. Once you're down there, you can view up to 50 cards at a time. You can also go to the next page, of course, okay? All right, now the next step is create a campaign. So you should see that in the top right-hand corner. Now, depending on the device that you are on, if you are on a smaller device, you may have a plus sign in that same tealish blue color in the bottom right corner, okay? So we're going to go ahead and hit create. And it's going to ask you what type of campaign, because again, there are 4 different kinds you can create, but we are going to do direct mailer for today. And we're going to go ahead and type our name. So I'm just going to do this direct mailer class, keep it simple, so that we can identify that. And then you're going to select your goal. So you can advertise listings, attract talent. If you just want to do brand awareness and try to let people know you're in real estate. Event awareness, maybe you're sending this out to your database or your local neighborhood, and you have an event coming up, you can do that as well. You can also do attract buyers, or maybe this is for just holiday or whatever, you can also select other. Now for our first one today, we're going to go ahead and do advertise listing, and I'm going to go ahead and hit create campaign. Now, since we selected advertise a listing, it's going to immediately pull up this page that allows us to select a specific listing, okay? Now, as we're doing this, there are a couple of search options. You can, of course, do a property search by the address, the MLS number, you can also do the listing agent. Okay, so lots of options there. Couple of things you want to make sure you pay attention to here are going to be these other settings down below, the status and show. Okay. Um, you can select which status those properties may be under. You can also show only your listings, or you can choose to select all listings. Okay, so make sure whichever one you're interested in, you select that. Now, I don't have any listings, so we're going to go ahead and switch this to all. And I got a property here that we will see if we can pull up. We'll go ahead and plug that in, and I'm going to go ahead and hit search. Once I do that, it may take a second for this to fully load. I think this is the one I'm looking for, so we'll go ahead and I think that's it. I think these are actually the same. We'll go ahead and select this one and hope that the photos pull in. Now, once we do that, we can still see the overview, so the name and the goal, those can still be changed. But then we are seeing that our listing is selected. Now, if we come down to content, we should be able to pull in all of those listing details from the MLS since we pulled in that address. So it should be pulling the address, the price, the bedrooms, bathrooms, as well as the description from the MLS. Now you should also be able to find listing images. It's not populating right now, but you should see those. Now, one thing I want to point out is these little exclamation marks, though. These are always going to show up when you are using listing photos from the MLS. The reason that they are showing low resolution is because those listing photos are going from the MLS to KWLS, KWLS into the system here. So in all of that transition from one platform to another, they lose a little bit of their quality. So if this is your listing and you have the listing photos, we do recommend go ahead and upload those. But I also have not seen an issue with using the listing photos. So definitely just take a look at them when you add them to your postcard and see if you want to use them. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload a photo, and I've got one right here. So we'll go ahead and pull this in. So now that I have my listing photo, it's going to show on my preview on the right-hand side of the screen, okay? Now I can, of course, edit any of this if any of this is incorrect. I can also customize my description. Now I do want to point out we do have a character limit. Make sure you select the postcard template you want before you trim that down, because depending on the template size, you may have a higher character limit, so just decide on your postcard and then kind of trim that down. Now there are 4 different templates. I like to add the photo before we take a look at those because without the photo, you can't really see some of the details. So once you add your photo, go ahead and flip through these. So you have the compact template, which is a 4x6 postcard. That's the one we're seeing currently. You have the default. That is a 6x9. Now, as you can see, if we didn't have a photo, we wouldn't be able to see kind of that fade. We have the large modern, which is a 6x11. And as you can see, it has the photo on the right. And then lastly, we have the large template contemporary, which is also a 6x11. As you can see, it also has a little bit of fade. So that's the reason I like to add the photo first. Gets you the bigger picture. But as you can see, our character limit has gone up significantly. So now we can come back and kind of trim some of this off until we're under that character limit, okay? You can also completely remove this and type something if you want. That is totally up to you. Let's just go ahead and remove this chunk with all the bullets, okay? So now we are under that character limit. Now that description is not displaying on the front of the card, but if we come back up and we view the back, you'll see that description is showing right here. Now, you can also flip through these postcards once you have everything plugged in so you can see the differences. It does change on the back as well. So just check those out. Make sure the one that you're selecting is the one that you like. Take a quick look at these chats. If you see me skip over questions, I will come back to those. If you're having issues with syncing your listings, there's a couple things. I will come back to that. I just want to make sure we get through everything and then we can kind of take a look at that. Um, Next thing is, let me go ahead. We got a couple people joining. Go back to the front here. The other option here is the listing status. Now you can add this or not, is up to you. There are only 3 options. So if you're looking for something other than just listed, just sold, or coming soon, you cannot type in this specific box, okay? So you have to select one of those options and it will appear on the card, okay? Now, if you selected one and you don't like it, you can always remove it by hitting that X, but these are going to be the only 3. You cannot type other statuses in this. All right, moving down, now that we've got all of that selected, and since the marketing profile moved, it hasn't been pulling. I'm hoping they'll get this fixed. It hasn't been pulling the photo, but let me go ahead and just grab one really quick. Sorry about that. Let me grab Scott's photo. There we go. So it should be pulling your photo from your marketing profile. However, if you're not seeing that, just go ahead and upload it. It is pulling the name, the email, and the phone number. When you're in the phone number, go ahead and select that box and hit the space bar on your keyboard just to reformat that phone number correctly, okay? Now moving down, we're going to go ahead and hit save. It is going to let you know my photo is low resolution. I saved this from the website, so it's probably not the highest quality. Just make sure you pay attention to that and you're happy with it because they are not responsible for low quality cards, okay? Go ahead and hit use image. Moving down, we have market center details. Question in the chat. No, the fonts cannot be changed. If you want more customization, you'll generally want to do a custom template that you're going to upload, okay? DBA, this information again should be pulling from your marketing profile, okay? So this is our logo that's under the Market Center. It should be your specific Market Center logo. You'll see the name of the office, the address, city, state, and you will need to add that zip code. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the one from the website here. And we're going to go ahead and hit verify. Now we'll prompt you if the address is not looking correct. It will let you know. It will suggest another one if there's something they're finding, and you can go ahead and confirm. Now the next thing we want to do is come down to our targeting. Now because we selected a listing, it is automatically pulling that listing address, and it's going to target that surrounding area, okay? Now there's also the option to target your database. We're going to cover that on our next postcard, so we will come back to that. For now, we're going to leave it as the property address for this listing. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. And then you do want to select your budget. So you're going to have the option to select quantity, or if you are focusing on a dollar amount that you'd like to spend, you can try to meet that as close as you can. So let's say we wanted to do $200 or as close as we can, we'll go ahead and land right there on 184. Now you can also change your postage. There is standard and first class, so that is also up to you if you want to set it that way. Keep going down. 145. This can still be changed on the next screen as well, so just keep that in mind moving forward. We'll go ahead and hit save. Now, before we move on to configure our targeting, there is one last thing I want to show you on this specific item. There is a QR code option, okay? Now, I do want to point out that this is not available if you are using a custom template. If you are uploading your own design, that is not available, okay? And it just took my thing away. That's okay. So QR codes are only available when you are doing the default templates created in the system. If you are uploading a custom design, you're just going to want to make sure your QR code is added to your postcard design that you've created and the image itself, okay? So I'll also show you guys that. But let's go ahead and turn on this tracking. Now, when I turn that on, you want to pay attention to the back of the postcard, and you want to select where you want that QR code to be directed to. Do you want them sent to your agent website? Do you want them to go to your branded consumer app? Do you have a landing page created for this specific property and you'd like to send them there? You should be able to see all of your landing pages when you're thumbing through this and select whichever page you would like them sent to. Okay? Landing pages, custom pages, they should all appear here. We're going to go ahead and just direct them to our basic KW agent site for this example. When I select that, I should have a QR code pop up on my postcard, no matter which template I've used, okay? So you should see that QR code pop up. Now, once that's there, we can go ahead and configure targeting, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that button next. And I've got, please fill out all required fields. It must have erased something. There we go. When I switched to that other postcard, it took a couple pieces of information away. Took my photo away too. Sorry, guys. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, save. And now we're going to hit that configure. It is going to say, do you want to continue? Go ahead and hit yes. And then it will redirect you to the next page, okay? Now the next page is where you're going to start identifying who you want to send this postcard to. So you automatically have 105 homes that are going to show up based on the address and how many you'd like to send. But we can get very specific with who we'd like to send these to. Do we want to target only single family homes? Do we want to only target multifamily? If you do that, it's going to readjust your map and select those. Anytime you see a blue dot with a number on it, those are going to identify multifamily homes and how many units are at that specific property, okay? You can remove those if there's one that you're seeing that you don't want, and it will replace it with another address that meets what you've set, okay? So you can also hover back over that and restore. Now, if we go back to single family, you'll see we see a lot less of those numbers, or actually we see none of those because we're only on single family. But if we're on all, you see we do have some multifamilies over here, okay? Now you can also adjust how many bedrooms the homes that you are sending these postcards to have, how much square footage, the year that the homes were built, the last time those houses were sold, last sold for amount. You can select any of those and determine who you want these postcards to go to, okay? Now the other option, maybe you are looking to farm or target a specific neighborhood, okay? So let's say we want to let's zoom out just a little. Let's just target this area. You can also draw on the map, okay? So you can use that draw feature. Now, one thing to pay attention to, based on where you draw, your homes may increase. So you may need to come back and readjust that, okay? So it's going to get that specific area in the center unless you start adjusting some of these options, okay? If there are no homes that meet those filters, it's going to let you know only 3 homes match your results, okay? So you may need to also adjust that. So just keep that in mind. But once you have that set, you can again determine standard or first class. Those are still available. You can also decide if you'd like to receive a copy of the postcard. Keep in mind your price does change. When you add that, you are also billed for the one that you would like to receive. And that postcard will go directly to your Market Center office, okay? So we'll go to that office address in your profile, okay? And once we're good with this, maybe we don't want to use the circle. We can also reset this and remove that. You can also search for an address, okay? So again, if you're farming a neighborhood, maybe you want to target your local neighborhood, anything like that, you can do any of these searches, okay? You could enter address, draw on the map, wherever you'd like. You can move around, okay? These maps are super interactive and you can send them anywhere, okay? Once you're done though, and we are happy with our postcards, how many we have, we can go ahead and hit next. I'll give it just a second to catch up. Now, once the postcard loads, we should see a preview of it here. In just a second, we should also see a view larger preview. There it goes. Where we can just really get a good look at the postcard, make sure that we like it. You can also download it if you want. Maybe you don't want to send it through here. You can go ahead and download the card and use it elsewhere. But this is going to allow you to see your photo and all of the information on a little bigger scale. Now, I get questions sometimes. It will say current resident when these are mailed out. There is no option to download or export a copy of the addresses or the contacts that these are being sent to. So using those QR codes on these postcards can be super valuable because that's going to be a great way to capture those leads. Otherwise, there's not a ton of ways to necessarily capture those. But if someone scans that, they go onto your site or your app, they sign up for an account, that's a great way for you to capture that lead. So definitely encourage the QR codes. Moving down, this is where you're going to see your order summary. You'll see how many postcards, what size they are, how much per postcard, and your total amount. Now your postage is included. These cards are not something you have to pick up, put stamps on, and mail them. They are going to literally be distributed to these homes. All you do is create them and pay, and that's it. Now, moving down, you're going to get into some of your processing details. These are going to be important if you're trying to get these into mailboxes by a certain date. So, same day processing. If you are submitting your order by 3 p.m. on a business day, your mailers are going to go into production the same day at a fulfillment center that is nearest to the targeted area. So, wherever you're trying to target, that's where they're going to go into production. From there, USPS distribution, your cards are going to be inserted into the Postal Service mail stream within 2 business days. Now, from that estimated delivery, your mailers are estimated to arrive in mailboxes of the targeted recipients within 7 to 14 business days. Once you submit and make payment for your order, you are going to get a more accurate estimate of when those will arrive. Okay? This is where you'll then go ahead and enter your payment, card information, etc., and go ahead and get those placed. Now, there is also a schedule option. Now, keep in mind, your mailers are estimated to arrive in the mailboxes of the targeted recipients 7 to 14 business days from the scheduled launch date, okay? So whatever day you set that as, keep it 7 to 14 days after that is your estimated time. And then that is it. That is your postcard. So that is where you will go ahead and make payment and you are all set. Now there is no save draft or save option here. However, if you go ahead and hit go back, it's going to redirect you straight to the campaigns dashboard. And as you can see, it automatically saves my draft. Okay, so I can go back in, edit, make changes, etc. Take a quick look at the chat. Sandra, there's just a few things that could be causing that. So it's kind of one of those troubleshooting issues, and I won't necessarily have the exact answer right away. So it's maybe one of those things that may take a little bit more time to figure out. But we should have time at the end of class to make sure you're caught up. All right, the next thing I want to show you guys is how to use a custom design. So maybe you want to create your own custom postcard. You don't want to use the templates. You can create custom postcards in Command under the Designs applet. You can create them in Canva. Wherever you would like to create those postcards, you can create the design. Keep in mind, if you are creating it, you will most likely have to resize it to upload it, even if you are creating it in Designs. And we'll take a look at how to do that. So let's go ahead and head into Designs. So it looks like a paintbrush with a canvas behind it. And we're going to go ahead and just do Create, and we're going to go into Print and Next. Now, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on actually creating the design, but I will show you really quick how to create that. Now, once we're here, let's go ahead and let's see. Let's do lead gen event invitations. Okay. And once we're under event, let's say we have a client event coming up and we want to send this to our database. Let's go ahead and find just postcards, okay? So these are going to be 6x4 postcards. And there's only one. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and use that one. And we're going to go ahead and customize this. Now, again, I'm not going to customize this a ton because I want to just show you guys how to do it and how to resize it. So we're going to leave this as a little shindig. We'll do client. Ooh, can't type. Yep, that's wrong. Let's say that this is going to be, we'll just do September 6th. Keep it simple. We'll leave it as 4 to 7, and I'm just going to go ahead and delete the event details. This is the front of our postcard, okay? We have 2 pages, so we can now go to our second page. Event name. Again, we'll keep it really simple. Drag that over. Call or email to RSVP. Now, anytime you are creating your own postcard, make sure you are leaving plenty of room on this right-hand side of the back because you can't adjust this mailing section once you're in the card. So if you're overlapping, if something is getting cut off, you have to come back to your original design to edit that, okay? Let's go ahead and see if we've got Scott's photo here. We'll give it a second to load. We'll leave the phone number and we'll just go ahead and put support that. I swear I can type every day until I'm teaching and then I forget how to use my fingers. All right, let's go ahead and grab Scott's photo, pop him in there. Let's swap out our logo. And grab that one. All right, now the QR code is another item. Again, if you want to add a QR code, you certainly can. Sometimes they used to have one in here. I think it's gone. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I have some in the assets. So if you had a QR code to your website, to your app, to whatever landing page, you can go ahead and add that to your design. Okay, so maybe let's go ahead and let's do scan. Let's say we sent this as a Google form. This is a QR code to that Google form so they can fill that out. I'm going to move this up just in case. And that is our postcard, okay? We're gonna remove this little link here. And now I'm gonna download this so that we can add it to our design, okay? And I'm gonna do 1 page at a time, just to make it easier. We're gonna leave it as a PNG. Now I'll do the second page. I just don't wanna have to unzip the folder when it downloads, so that's why I did them one at a time. Now we're gonna go ahead and hit done. And we're going to go take this into the campaigns so that we can create that. Skim. Thanks, guys. That's okay. I'm not going to fix it because this is just an example. But yes, please proofread your cards because you do not want to send that out like that. um, I am guilty of all kinds of typos when I'm teaching. All right, so we're going to head back to direct mailer and we're going to create a campaign again, okay? We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do custom. Today is, we're going to do event awareness for this one because we're inviting them to a client event. And now you can see we're not immediately prompted to select a listing, okay? So if you are wanting to use a listing, you probably want to pull one of those. But now we're going to go to upload a custom template. Now this is where I said, even if you create this design in Command, you're going to have to resize it. And I will show you why. We're going to go ahead and hit Browse. And I'm going to, woof, sorry, computer is lagging just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and grab the front of this card. Now I created this design in Command. I should be able to pull it in, right? No, because the size of the postcard does not line up exactly. Um, the reason for that being is that when you are creating the design, you're currently using WeBrand. When you are using direct mailers, you're currently using real mailers. So the sizing doesn't line up quite right. We just simply go to resizer. I'll grab the link. Give me just a second. Image resizer. I'll drop this in the chat for you guys. And you can resize your photo, okay? So select, we'll go ahead and grab this one and the next one. And we can go ahead and resize them. Now you want to unlock the aspect ratio because if you leave that locked, it's not going to or it's not going to resize them correctly. So now we want to decide which size do we want to create, a 6x4, 6x9, or 6x11, and go ahead and grab I always use the pixels, and we're going to go ahead and just paste those here so I can remember them. Our width is going to be 2775, and our height is 1875, okay? We're going to go ahead and do export. It's going to resize those, and then we're going to download them. Now, the alternative to resizing them is creating a custom design in Canva that already meets the exact sizing that is needed for these postcards. So that is a workaround if you'd like to do that instead. That works too. We're going to go ahead and download those, and we're going to grab them right here. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. Can't remember which one is which. Let's try this. Remove it first. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm having a Monday. All right, so now we have our front and back of our postcard, okay? We can look at the back, we can look at the front. I know it shows a black line. When we go to the next page, you won't see that, so don't worry about that. But again, no QR code option. So if you were wanting that included, create it on your design, add it to the actual image. Don't put scam because people won't do it. We're gonna go ahead and hit save, and we're gonna go to the next part. So let me close a couple of these. Grab my zip code again here. And verify. Targeting. And one other thing I want to point out, it did not give you the option to add your photo either. So if you want your photo on your postcard, add it to your postcard. The only reason it's getting the address is for mailing purposes. So Market Center logo, things like that, you have to add them to the design. Any compliance requirements, add to the design, okay? It's not going to allow you to edit them once you're in here. Your targeting, this is where you can either farm a specific area if that's what you're wanting to do, or you can target your database, okay? Now, if we want to target our database, you can send one card if you want to. Maybe you want to use this for birthday and you want to send it to contacts on their birthday. Home anniversaries. You can create a postcard for that only and send it to one contact, okay? You do not have to send it to a bunch of people to use this feature. I'm just going to grab my tag here, so bear with me for one moment. Now, I want to point out, it's going to let you know if someone doesn't have a mailing address and you cannot add that person. So this is not going to allow you to send it to anyone that does not have an address, okay? It's also going to let you know the contact's primary address will be used if a mailing address is not available in their contact card, okay? So we'll send to mailing address first, and then if they do not have that, it will go to their primary address. Now we can select all of these people and go ahead and hit add to campaign. It's going to show us all 7 of those people. We can still remove someone if we added someone by accident. And then we can go ahead and hit save. Now there is no budget or quantity to adjust here. You can adjust your postage. Because you're selecting the amount of contacts, it's going to automatically set your quantity based on who you're sending it to. And then we're going to hit save. Now, this is another part when you are sending it to your database, you are not going to be redirected to the map to configure your targeting. So it's going to immediately take you into preview and payment. Okay, so go ahead and hit yes. And we'll give it a minute because it's taking its time. Now, as you can see, I don't see the black line anymore, but we'll wait till we get this button always takes a minute to pop up. There it is. Now, as you can see, we don't have that black line. So I always like to point that out because some people worry that that's going to show up. It's not there. It's kind of like a bleed line. That is our postcard. And again, there's not much to do here. It's going to go over your summary of your order, processing times, and allow you to make payment. No map is required because we are selecting our database and we're automatically sending it to those people. In this example, it will pull a name because it is pulling the name from your database, okay? So we'll pull name and address from your database. Once you're done with this, you go ahead and make payment and you are all set. And that is our class for today. I am going to stay and answer any questions, and we're going to go back to the one question. Yes, the image resizer is free. You can also resize in Canva. They also have a free account. That would also be free for you as well if you're more comfortable there. I have kind of, in my Canva, I have a template kind of already set to the dimensions for the different postcards. And a lot of times I'll just add it to that template and download. So a couple of options. All right. Yes, you can always do that schedule. So if we were to come in and edit, once we're in the preview and payment, give me 1 second. Once we're in preview and payment, it should always have the schedule option. So if you're looking to schedule out birthday postcards, anniversary postcards, holiday, whatever you want to do, maybe you just want to send to your entire database for holidays, it will always have this schedule launch for a later date. Wade, are you looking for a class specifically on direct mailers in Canva or just Canva in general and using Canva? All right, guys, I'm going to stop record and hang around for questions. So definitely stay on. If you have questions, drop those in the chat for me. If you don't have questions and want to hop off, that is totally fine too. I do see a question about our recording. You can find those all on our YouTube channel. And there is the link again for that. I'm going to stop record and go through all these questions with you guys. And so stick around if you have questions. If not, feel free to hop off.